Drum
Fifth-year
roll,
option.
please.
Steelers running back Najee Harris, number 22.
Mm-hmm.
His 5th-year option has officially been
Mm-hmm.
declined.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to I think I saw Dulac had a report. Then I think Steelers Depot had some action as well, man, tagging it. But are you surprised?
I am, yeah,
Yeah.
very much surprised. I thought, given that Najee was our first-round pick, given that Najee does have 3 consecutive 1,000-yard years for us,
Yeah.
and he's been a good guy, like, around here, like,
Yeah.
been a leader and everything. Like, I know he hasn't handled the media the best, maybe, over the last year or so, but I haven't heard any teammates or anyone in the organization complaining about Najee and what he brings to the team. I think he's a leader for this squad. So I thought they would just make sure to keep him around at least for that extra year.
Yeah.
Even though it's hard to argue an overpay. I think to us, for those that think running backs are more expendable than other positions, it is an overpay. Like, you think 5 is like that happy medium spot.
Right.
Like, that's probably the best number for Najee, given the type of running back he is too. Like, he's not tier 1.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. But then you look at what some of these running backs are getting out there recently, like Saquon getting his 13, Josh Jacobs getting up there in the double digits. And Najee's seeing that and saying, like, why can't I, at least get like 7, 8, or 9, given that I just had 3 1,000-yard years. Like, I did something that a lot of these running backs, or actually every other running back in the league, hasn't done over the last 3 seasons. I'm the only one that's done that.
Yeah.
And I've been running behind some below average offensive lines for the most part. Had Matt Canada here as the coordinator, all that stuff. So I thought the Steelers would maybe just, pay that extra $1 million or $2 million to get that 5th-year option. But hey, yeah, I guess they declined it. I guess an extension might be on the horizon, but I don't know. I guess it all depends on how Najee takes that news, or the 5th-year option being declined news, and we take it from there.
Yeah, man. I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I could have seen it go either way, for a couple of reasons. Number one, when we talk the Pittsburgh Steelers, they do a good job of being loyal to their players, right? Offer contracts, they'll extend dudes. Told you about my situation coming over through free agency. Told me on the front end, you do what you're supposed to do, we'll take care of you, and they did do that. So, I'm always pro organization in that, because it's like, man, I lived it and they did hold true to their word. But I think it's a unique space we're in with running backs. We're a unique space we're in with Najee Harris. Very different than the L. Bell scenario. L. Bell was viewed as the best running back in the league, and the deal was about to be insane when he was trying to get accomplished. But even with that, there was still a large discrepancy with true guarantees. And that was the big reason why he ended up sitting out. So when I think of how that situation played out, it's like you can make a case that Najee hasn't had the same level of impact on the field that L. Bell has had. So if they weren't going to break the bank and bend over backwards to give L. Bell realistically more than $10 million fully guaranteed, because that was the issue with the deal. It was 10 was guaranteed, everything else was a rolling guarantee, which is the wink deal, right? So it's like, if they weren't going to give that more than 10, it's like we hollered about 5 for Najee or 7 for Najee. I mean, that's $3 million difference. That's kind of how I look at it. Now, granted, we know the time is a little bit different in terms of the markets and the money, but I just look at that and I'm like, if they were going to pull, and it was like pulling teeth to get that number bumped up for him, it's like, bro, what leg does L. Bell or does Najee have to stand on, in the sense of, yeah, you have 3 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, but the criticism as non-Steelers, like, if you just looking outside, they say he's just a volume back. Give him a ton of touches. He doesn't fumble. He doesn't get hurt, but that isn't necessarily, like you called it, that's not tier 1. It's not the guy that you fear. He doesn't make a ton of second-level defenders miss. When we talk about getting into the open field, that's the difference right now with him and Jaylen Warren. Jaylen does a really good job once he gets that second level of stepping around LBs, safeties, corners, and he can go the distance. Where Najee, we don't consistently see that, but his value is in that true body puncher, the true availability. And the problem is here in Pittsburgh, we value that because we see what that meant to our offense while we were going through this transition with quarterbacks, offensive personnel. But from a business standpoint, that is a archaic and dead model in terms of long-term commitments with that. They don't last. So if your best 3,000 was right here at the front end, the odds of me getting 3 more of those 1,000, even with the upgraded line, I'm looking at him like, bro, you got hit 400 touches, 3 something here. It's like, bro, you're damaged. The same convo with Peyton Wilson, right? Why you don't take him in the first, why you get him in the third. It's not based on his ability and talent. It's because of, man, how long is this investment going to last? And with Naj, man, we've seen the production. We've seen certain elements that he brings, but we know with that position, there is not this long shelf life where we guarantee he's going to give us 3 more years that are better than the 3 that we just saw from him, let alone 5. So when we're talking about those commitments into that money and what makes sense for him versus what makes sense for the team, that's this disconnect. Now, I lean extension because I think that's the in-between where the team wouldn't mind giving him 5, wouldn't mind giving him 6 because of the Steelers' loyalty, because of, hey, man, you did give us this on the front end. We know you probably got a year or 2 left before it starts to start looking the other way just because of your style. And you don't give us the, all right, well, we could turn him into a receiving back. At least be the third now. Like, he doesn't have that. So that's why, like I said, I can understand why they would do what they did. But I also lean they probably want to get an extension done because at least that bridges it and it protects the feelings. Because right now, if you're Najee Harris, bro, how are you happy?
I thought
How
just
are you
picking up
feeling?
his 5th-year option would be best for the
Yeah.
vibes or the feelings because
see what I'm
you
saying?
don't have to
Yeah.
worry about anything past year 5.
Right.
But it's still like a respect thing to pick up the
Yeah.
option.
Because I'm like,
That's
right
why.
now,
That's why I'm a little surprised.
this
they
is
did
kind.
this.
It could get kind of messy because this is definitely a business. Like Omar, this is a if Omar is doing this anywhere else, we're like, yo, that's a smart decision. We love it, absolutely. Yeah, don't think twice. But because of the feelings and us kind of seeing the growth of Naj and what he's had to endure here, we're like, yo, that's kind of crazy.
Just for 1 year.
Yeah, because
for
it's
an
like,
additional year.
even if it is an overpayment, you're paying him back for what he gave you these first 3 when it was chaos. But that's why they say you got to take the emotions out of it when it's business. And that's what this is. But Najee's an actual person, bro. And he got feelings,
And he's
bro.
going to be on the team this year.
And you're going to ask of him to do what? You're not giving Jalen Warren the ball 400 times like you give Najee the ball 400 times or 400 touches. Like, no.
I think it's much less than that.
Not 400 times. Yeah, but the being on the field.
The bulk of it.
That's what I meant by that. Excuse me. Yeah, he's definitely not getting 400 carries. No, not at all.
I'd actually be. How many did he have last year? I'd be very interested in that because maybe this. I don't know. I was gonna say maybe this low key works out for Najee where he could hit the market next year, but then
you about to talk yourself into why you don't pay him.
Yeah, it's weird with the running back position because the more carries you give him, the more numbers he could potentially put up. But then that's the more tackles and more hits on your body. And
he's a car.
Yeah,
it's like getting a fancy car.
The less you're getting the ball, the more your production's down a little bit.
So now I'm not driving the car. So now
you
you just sitting here. So you either sitting here or when I'm driving you, I'm losing out on you.
But it's not going to be an all or nothing thing with Najee, no matter what. Like he'll at least get a split backfield and get a decent amount of work. Let's see, what's your? I think he had. Are we doing both carries and receptions?
Yeah, just do touches. Yeah.
Okay. Over under 300 last year.
Last year I'll say under.
255 carries, 29 receptions, so less than 300.
Because we saw a lot more.
Rookie year, he was 381 total.
Yeah.
2022, it was 310 total. So yeah, it's gradually gone down every year.
Well, I think the past 2 years, who have we had here?
Yeah,
That's
Jalen.
the big reason. Yeah. But once again, because we've seen more of Jalen, that's also the big reason why we feel like Najee's more expendable now.
Yeah, and then it's just like
They go hand
should
in
we be
hand.
paying $7 million to a guy that's splitting the backfield with someone else.
And the someone else is the guy that can go 60.
Trust me, I get the business decision part of this 100%. 100%.
We explained it right there, and it's like, God.
I get it 100%.
I want to pay him just because it's like, dang, Najee, like, I feel bad. But when we just say it like that, it's like, nothing says pay that $7 million. But that's where we at, man. It's the running back though. It's the nature of the position and the style of player that he is. If he's the shifty, speedy guy, and maybe he's missing 3 extra games, but he has that, he can step around you and go to the crib, I think it's a different convo. And we've seen that with Saquon. We've seen that with even Alvin Kamara. We could, we certain running backs, it's like, you can miss some time, and those guys are still above reproach to get the check because they have that, they can go all the way to take it to the house type combo. And that is the element that Najee doesn't have, and he doesn't have the elite receiving ability to offset it. And that was what L. Bell at least brought. It was like, L. Bell might not take it to the crib, but he going to carve you up here, and he's an absolute weapon receiving the football.
Some people in the chat are saying part of the reason they decline the 5th-year option is because they want to see how Najee does in the Arthur Smith system, which is very fair.
That's fair. I just think you playing with fire with
Najee,
his feelings.
Yeah,
though.
Najee don't want to hear that at all.
Because it's like,
but it's very accurate assessment.
But if I'm Najee, it's like, so you mean to tell me y'all said that Matt Canada is the worst coordinator ever, right? And I still 3 years in that gave you 1,000 yards every single time, and we had Kendrick Green at one point out here, right?
Starting.
And when I still gave you 1,000 yards back to back, right? We had 7, we had Kenny, we had Mitch, we had Mason. Still 1,000, right? And you worried about what I look like in Arthur Smith's system? Like, that's like I said, if you Najee, bro, I don't see how not. Yeah, that's a tough one, man.
Because they could have picked up his 5th-year option and still worked on an extension, right?
See, I don't know how that works, though, logistically. I know for the franchise tag, that can work.
I think you can definitely do it.
I just didn't
didn't we
know
do that with TJ and Minka?
No. I'm saying in the sense of, can you make the number lower per year than the option? That's what I'm saying. Because we would be trying to make this Najee situation a lower deal, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that part because with TJ,
I don't think there's
Minka,
any other position where it's lower like that.
Right? Because I was like TJ and Minka, we were like, we're paying you more because you're outplayed your option.
Yeah.
But with this, we're like, we want it the other way. And even the same with Phil's.
Yeah, it would be the same.
Because we wouldn't have picked up Phil's option and then, let's extend you. And because that's the case, once I signed that deal, I ain't signing it back. No. Once I signed for the 25, D, I ain't about to come back after I done signed for the 25. You're not about to get me to sign anything for less than the 25. So that's the part for the Steelers where they ain't about to put that out there.
Yeah, so now we just got to wait and see how Najee reacts and handles this.
Yeah, it's definitely
That's really all there is because he's still on the team this year.
And we're going to need him. Let's not act like, bro, we big Jalen Warren fans. Love Jalen. Like, he can ball, but they are better together than they are apart right now. Because it's like, Seattle was the perfect game for me. Seattle was the perfect approach of you see how that body punching, that physicality, that Najee works, but you also see how that Jalen Warren, that step around you, that burst and can get into the zone. That's what we have. And it's like, bro, we can still afford to make that work. So